Recording.
Okay.
Okay, let me get my notes here. Okay, so to start off, my name is Johnathan McLemore. I'm working on improving the user experience for booking a room on Marriott's website. I'm conducting this interview to better understand what you're thinking when booking a hotel online. The questions asked will relate to a generic hotel booking experience. However, Marriott's website will be available for you to view during the exercise. So please feel free to make any comparisons between past experiences and what you see on the site. Before we get started, please note that this exercise is for Marriott's internal use only. Any information obtained during this study will be kept confidential. We'll be recording the interview to reference during the decision-making activities. This recording will not be shared with anyone outside the Marriott organization. So, do you consent to the recording of the interview and its included actions?
Yes, thank
All
you.
right. All right. So let's just start this off by telling us a little bit about yourself, name, profession, things like that.
Sure, my name is Michael Kazenel, and I work as a user experience designer the the MathWorks. I'm 58 years old and travel occasionally.
Okay. So I'm guessing you've been on the other side of a study like this, but have you ever participated in a study like this before?
Um, I have, yes.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about the experience?
Sure. At a previous company, Fidelity Investments, we were testing one aspect of the financial site for 401k participants, and they needed someone internal to Fidelity to kind of go through a practice study. So it was conducted as a real study in preparation for doing customer research.
Okay. Uh, so you mentioned that you travel occasionally. What are the reasons for your travel most of the time?
Um, um, Most of the time, it's traveling, let's say, with family. Although now that our kids are grown up, it's usually traveling to visit our kids when we travel. Um, yeah.
Okay. Since we're going to be talking today about booking hotels, could you tell me about your last hotel booking experience? Just kind of a high
Um,
level overview.
sure. We were visiting my son in Chicago. He goes to school at Northwestern, and was researching and booking a room in the Evanston area.
Okay, nice. So, how often would you say that you book hotels annually?
Um, let's say um, let's say around three times. Now, one caveat there is I'll sometimes do it. Sometimes it's my wife who will do it.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's a combination. For example, I may research a room and then she'll book it, or vice versa. So sometimes one of us doing it, the whole thing. Other times it's a combination.
Okay. So, for visiting your kids, what service do you use to book hotels most often? Is it a travel agent website, just over the phone? Just kind of elaborate on that.
Sure. More so recently, what we end up doing is we don't use a travel agent website. We'll often have a sense of the actual hotel we're thinking of staying at. Maybe there'll be one of those travel websites where we'll do some initial uh, consideration of different places, but usually in the end, we'll end up going directly to the hotel's website and doing the reservation from there.
Okay, nice. So, what site did you most recently make a reservation on?
Um, well, most recently, last fall, when I say you, it would be like combination of my wife and myself. We visited actually Milan. We ended up doing some research of hotels there. I can't remember particular ones. We ended up actually staying at a Airbnb, so we used the website for doing that.
Okay. How would you rate your experience on Airbnb?
Um, Found it very good. My Now for that one, that was my wife doing much of the actual booking, and that was
Gotcha.
overall was fairly straightforward.
Okay, you mentioned that you may use other sites to kind of get a feel of what you may be looking for in a hotel. Do you comparison shop, I'm guessing, a lot before you book a hotel?
Um, yes, and so it might do the kind of the TripAdvisor or the combination of something like that plus comparison shopping might look up go to individual hotels website and have them on, let's say, different tabs in a browser and be going back and forth based on, for example, price, availability, what the rooms look like, etc. So we'll do the full kind of range of research.
Okay, so is it price that's always a motivator, or are there other factors that would motivate you to choose your hotel? If you could kind of put that in context to how you chose your most recent hotel.
Sure. So um, for Milan, it was that one aspect was availability. So that would be one thing, first see what's available. Uh, then, then a kind of a combination of location, how close to where my son was, and he was right outside the center. So we're trying to find a place that was close to him, uh, that was available, that had a decent price. So in this case, um, the only hotels there wasn't that much available, and the only ones that were available were probably you know a good four times the price of the Airbnb. So at the end, we did research on the Airbnb, found that there was actually a really nice place available, very close to where we wanted to be. That was a fair amount less expensive than any of the official hotels.
Okay, nice. Backtracking a little bit, you mentioned that a lot of the times, or you mainly go to the hotel's main site to do your final booking. Could you tell us about what hotel that you most recently used and your experience on their site?
Oh gosh, I would have to. It may have been. I'm thinking a Holiday Inn in Evanston. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I think. Uh, and um, that was sometime last year, and it was what I remember. Though this is a little fuzzy by now, but it
Yeah.
seemed pretty straightforward.
Okay. So all the searching and all the
It was
amenities and stuff like that seemed like they were kind of right in line with what you
um,
needed to see to make the decision.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Kind of diverting a little bit. What features or amenities would make you consider booking a certain hotel over another, just kind of in a generic sense?
Um,
Let's say you're in. Let's frame this in Milan. Maybe what type of features or amenities might would influence you to book one over
sure.
the other?
Sure. So in that case, it was really proximity to being able to walk, to our locate, to where we wanted to be, which was downtown, and also where my son was. So, good location was a primary one. Um, if I could take it, and now in that one, that was pretty important because we anticipated not being in the hotel very often. If I can just kind of broaden it a bit, there have been times where, and actually a recent one was where we went with family. Can't remember the exact. It wasn't a chain where we ended, but it was a hotel in in a town in New Hampshire where we stayed with the family, and it was over the Christmas time. So we anticipated actually wanting an area in the hotel where that is, our three kids and the two of us, could kind of be together in front of, let's say, a fireplace, playing, being with each other and playing games and that. So in that case, it was the shared hotel amenities, not so much the room itself, although you want something nice there,
Hmm.
but it was more, are there places where we can hang out that are nice, a game room where we can go to. So that type of thing was important in that case.
Okay, very cool. Uh, changing subjects also just a little bit more. Have you ever booked your hotel in a travel package? Like, let's say, booked it in conjunction with a car, renting a car, booked it with a flight. Uh,
I'm sure. The When I used to work at my previous company, Fidelity Investments, as part of corporate travel, we used the Orbits for Business website, and that was the one we were supposed to use as Fidelity employees. And that one, it was indeed a case where we booked the in one in as part of one booking, we would book the hotel, then the car, sorry, the flight, then the also the hotel and the car.
okay, nice. Did you see a benefit to that as far as being able to package everything up all in one unit?
Um, yes, I mean, certainly, certainly being able to have the system understand the dates we were going and where we were staying, so you didn't have to keep entering that in. So, for example, I would travel to North Carolina frequently,
Hmm.
and of course, once you put in the date, then it kind of anticipated, what hotels were in that area, uh, during what times and availability. Similarly for the car, so obviously not having to enter that information again and all the personal information.
Nice.
So, yep.
Okay, talking about another type of packaging, have you ever booked like a luxury package that includes extra amenities such as a hotel plus maybe a spa trip or a show or some type of planned activity like horseback riding or maybe a dinner package, something like that, Valentine's Day package?
No.
Okay. Uh, have you ever utilized any type of rewards programs such as travel points, frequent flyer miles, credit card bonuses, etc. when you're booking a hotel room?
uh, no, I don't think so.
So would you feel like if these incentives were offered, there would be anything that would stand out that would make you want to sign up for one of these programs?
um, yes, I would say so. It would be helpful if the reward, let's say the rewards program was tied to something that I already had. And
Interesting.
what I mean by that is, if for example, we're looking at Marriott here, right? If
Hmm.
Marriott had its own rewards program, and and I had to do something special to sign up for that, I might not, because I just wouldn't know how frequently I would happen to choose Marriott, right? Versus if the rewards program was tied more to my credit card I use, or a frequent flyer program, then then I'd be much more likely to be interested in that, and actually think, wow, that's good. Marriott is going to give me a little break based on rewards I've already built up with, let's say, American Express or Delta
Okay,
Airlines.
that makes sense. So would there be anything that would deter you from signing up for one of these? You mentioned that if it wasn't already in a program that you're already a part of, it might be a negative
Right.
experience.
Well, what would deter me would be that if, in order to sign up for the rewards, I had to sign up for, let's say, a Marriott's reward program, right?
Hmm.
Then I'd say, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to use Marriott again, you know, in over the next 5 years, or how often, and is am I going to be doing it enough to make it worthwhile? So what if let's say Marriott was thinking that, oh, they want to kind of entice me with a rewards program, maybe something that's more like sometimes what you see at a department store, like where you go in and say sign up for a Macy's card, and you'll get 30% off immediately, like something like that, where there's an immediate reward.
Hmm.
Because if it's long term, I don't know if I'm going to be, how often I'm going to use it.
Okay. And have you ever booked a stay using Marriott.com's website?
um you know what, not on the website. Certainly when I was at Fidelity Investments, there were times that I would end up staying at Marriott, but then, like I said, I was more using the the Orbits for Business website,
Okay.
corporate website.
Okay. All right. Is there anything just, if you've been browsing through the website that might would encourage you to investigate further into booking a room there? Like, is there anything that would jump out at you at the homepage, like a starting point or any of the offers that you might would click through first?
Um, no, typically it is what I'm first looking for is is there a hotel in the where I want to stay and what its availability is. So, um, so that's my eye is going to be drawn very first to that one because you know I I if let's say there was a reward program. Well, if they don't have a hotel, if they don't have a hotel, if they don't have a hotel where I want to stay, and it's not, or it's not available when I want to stay, well, why bother, with the reward? So, what I would say, put it this way: if when I go to the homepage on a hotel for a hotel, anything that's on the page that has to do with rewards and championing that is noise to me.
Hmm.
I just disregard it.
Interesting. So, kind of wrapping things up here, do you have any final thoughts? Maybe just a few things that might make you the saddest when you're booking a hotel, like things
Uh,
you might run into on a site that would bug you and maybe make you not finish your transaction.
um, Well, going through, let's say, for example, I found it was, good hotel. It seemed like good hotel, seemed like a good location, and even seemed like a good price. So now, okay, what might turn it around? Um, if I found out, let's say I found out, boy, that's going to be really expensive, then at a certain point I go, wow, it seemed right, but seemed pretty expensive. Or
Hmm.
sometimes you find that there are, um, extra charges that are sort of annoying. So actually looking at this, what's reassuring is like it says free Wi-Fi, for example, and that's one of the things that often bugs me, where you go to a place and find out that they're charging you extra for something like that. So
No, I agree.
uh, I sort of I wonder whether, for example, now just looking at it, whether the site, whether Marriott already got some of that, you know, um, and so actually the couple of things they have here, at least particularly the first two, like our best rate guarantee. So I know, okay, going here, I haven't lost out on something, uh, and the free Wi-Fi kind of assures me that, they're not trying to nickel and dime me with stuff, So there's actually, to the extent that I might look for something on the homepage, I find those two messages actually reassuring and glad that they're on the homepage.
Okay. No, that's very valid. I actually feel the same way. So, wrapping things up, do you have any additional comments that you would like to add about a general hotel booking experience?
Um, uh, No, I would say the one thing I would add is that if I'm thinking about what also reassures me about a hotel is I like that that they have photos. I find myself more and more using that photos of what the room's going to look like, right? What the what those shared amenities are going to look like. The more photos, uh, the better, because then it takes the surprise out of it. You feel like what you're signing up for is going to be a decent place for staying. So I like that hotels are doing more of that. Photos of both inside the room and the amenities within the hotel.
Nice. All right, Michael. That concludes the interview. I'd like to thank you for your time helping me learn more about this,
Okay.
and I appreciate your consideration during the exercise. If you haven't already, could you please email me the consent form so that we may retain it for our records? And again, thank you so much for your time.
Okay. You're very welcome. Take care. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.